Okay, this time, guys, we are going to look at raising a power to another power. We're still going to work with indices, but I'm going to throw some brackets in. It is a little bit tricky. Stick with it, okay? Write down the examples and work slowly through them. Okay, if we're given x to the power of 2 brackets x to the power of 3, that's saying not x to the power of 2 times 3, so 3x squared. That's actually saying x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 2. Because remember, when you put something to a power, it means times itself that many times. So if I've got x to the power of 2 brackets 3, that's in factor form, I write that as x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 2. Then, however, all we need to do is use the index law and add the indices. So if I've got x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 2, all I need to do, as I've done here, is add 2, 2, and 2, and that answer will give me x to the power of 6. Similarly, if we're given x to the power of 5 brackets to the power of 4, we write that as p to the power of 5, p to the power of 5 times p to the power of 5 times p to the power of 5, which is p to the power of 20. I know, because I can go 5, 10, 15, 20. So p to the power of 5 brackets to the power of 4 equals p to the power of 20. Yeah, once again, I'm saying it slowly like an idiot, in the hopes that you might start to see a little bit of a pattern. The pattern you should be able to see is that when raising a power to another power, instead of having to write it out and then work it out by the base index law, I actually have a new law. 2 times 3, 6. 5 times 4, 20. So, my new rule becomes, when raising a power to another power, all we have to do is simply, my line went a bit funny there. All we have to do is simply multiply the indices. If I have a bracket and I'm raising it to another one, in order to work it out, I simply multiply the indices. So let's have a look at a few examples. Okay, m to the power of 4 to the brackets to the power of 8. Okay, so another way of thinking of that is m to the power of 4 times 8. 4 multiplied by 8 is 32, so my answer becomes m to the power of 32. If I wanted to simplify this, it becomes m to the 32. 4 multiplied by 8. If you want to look at this another way, remember how I always tell you that brackets mean times? You multiply everything that's on the inside of the brackets with what's on the outside. Hey, look at that little guy. Boom, boom, what's on the inside with what's on the outside. This example is where it changes a little bit, okay? Now this time, I've got not just pronumerals, I've got more inside my brackets. I've actually got numbers as well. This one's going to take a little bit longer, okay? So stick with me for this example, okay? And let's see what we can do. I multiply everything that's on the inside with what's on the outside, okay? So I've got to the power of 3 here. 3, remember, I always made this very clear as well. It's not, this doesn't mean here, this to the power of 3 doesn't mean times 3. It means whatever multiplied by itself 3 times. So 3 to the power of 3 isn't 9. That's actually 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, so first off, I'm going to deal with the numbers, like the 3 here, and then I'll go back and deal with the pronumerals, so the a squared b to the power of 5. So first off, 3 to the power of 3. 3 to the power of 3 becomes 27, because that's 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 times 3, which is 27. If you need help working these things out, it might be an idea to grab out your calculator. So now I've dealt with the numbers, I'm going to deal with the pronumerals. Let's start with a to the power of 2. And if I've got a 3 here, I know I multiply the indices. So 2 times 3, 2 times 3 is 6, so that becomes a to the power of 6. Then I've got b to the power of 5 here, and I've got 3 on the outside, so I know that's 5 times 3, so that becomes b to the power of 15. Guys, I know that probably freaked you out a little bit, okay? If you want, I think it'd be a good idea to pause it at this point and just rewind back to watch that again if you're a little bit lost. The main thing is that you take one element at a time. I do my numbers first and then my pronumerals. And it's everything on the inside of the brackets with everything on the outside of the brackets. Last example. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, okay? This looks like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Actually not that hard, okay? I'm going to deal with this bit here first, okay? This bit here first. So we're going to just kind of ignore what's going on here just for a little minute, okay? We're going to deal with this first bit. Let's deal with this first. So I know I multiply everything on the inside of the brackets with what's on the outside. There you go. I've got the 2 there. That's one type. And I've got numbers and pronumerals this time. So I'm going to deal with them separately. So 2 to the power of 2 is 2 times 2. So 2 to the power of 2. That means it's itself multiplied by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now my numbers are out of the way. I can deal with my pronumerals. So b to the power of 5. And on the outside of the brackets 2, I can go use that index law and go 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10, so that becomes b to the power of 10. See what I've done there? I just take it one step at a time. I start with my numbers first, and then I move on to my pronumerals. Then I'll keep this times here still, and then I'll have a look over here, okay? This time I'm going to start with my next bracket, okay? I'm going to start with this one in here now, okay? So, 5 to the power of 3. That's not 5 times 3, it's not 15, it's 5 to the power of 3. So 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125, because 5 times 5 is 25, 25 times 5 is 125. Don't believe me? Grab your calculator out. Okay, now I've dealt with the numbers, okay, I'm going to deal with the pronumerals. So b to the power of 8, okay, in brackets 3, I know I can use that index law and go 8 multiplied by 3. 3 eighths are 24, so that becomes b to the power of 24. Ah, okay, this is cool. This isn't a form I recognise now. 4b to the power of 10 times 125b to the power of 4. Okay. Okay. I know how to do this. Wait, it just looks complicated. I do know how to do this. If I've got multiplication, I start with my numbers first. 4 multiplied by 125. 125 multiplied by 2 is 250. 250 multiplied by 2, 500. Okay, that becomes 500. Then I know if I've got my pronumerals here, if they have the same base, as I've learnt for the last few lessons, I simply add the indices. This time I don't have brackets. I'm going back a few lessons and stuff that I've been doing for the last few lessons. It's just straight multiplication. So b to the power of 10 times b to the power of 24 becomes b to the power of 34, because I can add my indices. So when you see freaky things like this, guys, just take it one step at a time. Make sure you write down these examples. Make sure you make notes for additions that I make, and see if you can try your absolute hardest to complete as many questions as you can. And that's it, guys. That's raising a power to another power.